In the ancient land of Israel, the armies of Israel and Philistia gathered for battle. They faced each other across a wide valley, each army waiting for the other to make the first move. The Philistine army had a secret weapon, a giant named Goliath. He was over 9 feet tall, clad in heavy bronze armor, and wielding a massive spear. Every day for 40 days, Goliath would step forward and shout at the Israelites, mocking them and their God. He challenged them to send out a warrior to fight him, but the Israelite soldiers were terrified. Meanwhile, in a small village, a young shepherd named David was taking care of his father's sheep. David's older brothers were soldiers in King Saul's army, and one day David was sent by his father to bring food to them. When David arrived at the Israelite camp, he heard Goliath's challenge and saw the fear in the eyes of the Israelite soldiers, including his brothers. David was filled with a righteous anger. He couldn't understand why no one was willing to fight this giant who defied the armies of the living God. He spoke to his brothers and the other soldiers, asking what would be done for the man who defeated Goliath. His brothers scolded him, but David's words reached King Saul. Saul sent for David and listened as the young shepherd spoke with confidence. David told Saul that he had killed lions and bears while protecting his sheep, and he was certain that God would help him defeat Goliath too. Saul was hesitant, but finally agreed to let David fight. He offered David his own armor, but it was too heavy and cumbersome. Instead, David took only his shepherd's staff, his sling, and 5 smooth stones from a nearby stream. With these simple weapons, David approached Goliath. Goliath saw David coming and laughed. He mocked David, calling him a mere boy. But David was not intimidated. He shouted back at Goliath, declaring that he came in the name of the Lord Almighty, the God of the armies of Israel. David promised that God would deliver Goliath into his hands. As Goliath moved to attack, David ran towards him. He reached into his bag, took out a stone, and slung it with all his might. The stone struck Goliath on the forehead, sinking deep into his skin. The giant fell face down to the ground, dead. The Philistine army was stunned. They turned and fled, chased by the victorious Israelites. King Saul and his soldiers lifted David up in celebration, recognizing his bravery and faith. David's trust in God had won the day, and he became a hero in Israel.